Welcome back to In Pursuit of Truth. I am your host, Patrick Mack. We are navigating the waters of the deep state here, and we've got some new Q posts as of March 17th and 18th. 17th for you on the Western Hemisphere and the 18th for us on the East. We're going to get right into it, but first, let me just point you out over here again. I am on BitChute. This is my page here. There's going to be a lot more to come. If for some reason I'm kicked off of YouTube, I am on BitChute. I was going to open up my Gab as well, too. If you're on Gab, I'm not there as well. For some reason, it would not open up, but there you go. Okay, so let's get started. We've got a big one here. This is as of March 17th, 3 after the hour of 3. Q says, how bad is the corruption? Well, the corruption's pretty bad. FBI, past and present. Now, I'm going to read this whole thing first, and then we'll break it down a little bit. And then, of course, I'll let you do what you do, which is to do the real deep searching on this. How bad is the corruption? Well, we know it's bad. FBI, past and present. We have a number 1, a number 1, a number 2, a plus 29, parentheses 16. Then we switch over to the DOJ, the Department of Justice, past and present. Number 1, number 2, plus 18, and then we move on to state, past and present, number 1, plus 41. So there's a clear pattern there, and we're going to break that down in a minute. Removal is the least of their problems. Projection, Russia, greater than sign, Democrats, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Twitter bots, Google operated, not Russia, narrative and political slant, Biden/China, big development, traders everywhere, America for sale, Flynn, targeted, why? Who knows where all the bodies are buried? Cleared of all charges. Trump admin V2. Election theft. Last hope. Congressional focus. Impeach. They think you are stupid. They think you will follow the stars. They openly call you sheep, cattle. There will come a time none of them will be able to walk down the street. Biggest fear. Public awakening. Q. Okay, so lots to chew on here. Let's start from the top. I'm just going to give you my take on it. And of course, I always respect your take on it. Some of you guys have posted brilliant responses. So thank you for that. Also, please know in the comments, I'm getting hit with a lot of bots. So if I'm not getting back to your comments or whatever, you might know why, or if it's not getting posted, or if it gets deleted or whatever, please don't take offense to it. I'm getting slammed by bots on all social media. Okay, so please understand that. My love for doing this is absolutely genuine, and I want to share with you the best that I know. My information can be fallible, but at the same time, I'm doing my best to get it all. Anyway, there we go. So how bad is the corruption? FBI, past and present. Well, who is the FBI, past and present? Number 1. Well, let's take you over here. That would be Robert Mueller. Now, we know what's going on with Robert Mueller. He's got a great resume, of course. After college, he joined the United States Marine Corps, where he served as an officer for 3 years, leading a rifle platoon of 3rd Marine Division in Vietnam. It's well respected. And of course, he was the number 1. He was the director of the FBI. So we know what his story is. Who's the other number 1? Well, the other number 1 is clearly James Comey. Who's the number 2? And number 2, Andrew McCabe. So I think we can surmise here that these are the ones that they're going after next. Now, I'm not sure what's the story with Mueller. He still could be a white hat. I think we're going to find out what happens very, very soon. I think this week. Let's take you a couple hours ago. Donald Trump, he tweets about Mueller, and he says the Mueller probe should never have been started in that there was no collusion and there was no crime. It was based on fraudulent activities and a fake dossier paid for by crooked Hillary and the DNC and improperly used in FISA court for surveillance of my campaign. Witch hunt. And 9 hours ago, the fake news is beside themselves that McCabe was caught, called out, and fired. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars, 700s of thousands of dollars, I believe, was given to his wife's campaign by crooked H friend Terry M. That's Terry McAuliffe, who was also under investigation. Interesting indeed. How many lies, how many leaks? Comey knew it all, and much, much more. Okay, I don't want to stay on him there, but I think we're seeing the pattern here. So if I'm assuming correctly, that could be Mueller, Comey, Andrew McCabe. Now we have a plus 29, which I'm just guessing, I could be wrong, is there's 29 more that they're probably working on going after. And then in here, 16 probably have already been contained, stepped down, removed. I'm sure their stories are all different, but you get the idea. Moving on. Okay, so now we're at the Department of Justice. Well, who's in the Department of Justice, past and present? Well, Let's see, who would have been number one? Department of Justice. Well, I'm going to assume that was Loretta Lynch. And of course, we all know what's going on with Loretta Lynch and the meeting on the tarmac and the possible discussion of laying off on the investigation into Hillary Clinton. Who else is part of the Department of Justice? Well, that's Eric Holder. So now you get started on Eric Holder. I think you guys are getting the idea. I'll let you guys go from there. And then who would have been number two? Department of Justice. It's slipping my mind. Would that be Yates? Sally Yates? I think it's Sally Yates. Anyway, plus 18 to go. So I think what they're showing here, again, how bad is the corruption? I think they're showing you how bad the corruption is. It goes all the way from number one to number two. Same thing in the Department of Justice. It's all the way at the top, plus 18 more to go. Now, let's go over to state. I'm going to assume that's the Department of State, Secretary of State, past and present. Who would have been Secretary of State in past? Well, we all know who that. He was let go just a couple days ago. That's Mr. Rex Tillerson. All right. Who would have been a past Secretary of State who has, it's always in the news. Well, we know that to be Hillary Clinton. Okay. Plus 41. So it seems like right here is where we in the State Department is where we're really, really deeply rooted with bad actors and black hats. Removal is the least of their problems. Indeed. Projection. Okay. Now we're kind of switching topics here, it seems. Russia, Democrats, Hillary Rodham Clinton. So I'm assuming that she directly ordered or directly colluded with Russia to get these Twitter bots, Google operated. And let me tell you, I'm dealing with bots like crazy. Dealing with them here, dealing with them on Facebook, Twitter. I haven't really messed with the Gab and the BitChute yet, but obviously I think you guys all know. I do want to turn you on to this story real quick. Google Anon leaker claims sophisticated bots created for use on Twitter. Why is this important? I don't know if you guys have gone into this or not, and I don't know if I can actually find the ad, but there was I don't want to mess with it too much, but there was an anonymous poster that was talking about having worked at Google and talking about changing the narrative and installing bots and basically creating this mass narrative push towards the removal of guns and this and that. But I don't want to get too much into that. This is your Q post. You decide. Okay, so not Russia, narrative and political slant. I think that's just what we were talking about. Now we're switching gears one more time. Biden to China. A lot of other people have reported this. It's not a hard find. Okay, well, let's take you over to Breitbart News. Secret empires. Joe Biden's son firm struck billion-dollar deal with the Chinese government 10 days after Biden trip to China. That is incredibly good timing. The private equity firm of former Vice President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, inked a billion-dollar deal with a subsidiary of the Chinese government's Bank of China just 10 days after the father and son flew to China in 2013. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit here. According to an exclusive New York Post excerpt from the book, the Biden billion-dollar deal occurred as follows. Hunter Biden was the principal of Rosemont Seneca Bohai. In December of 2013, Vice President Biden, and his son Hunter flew aboard Air Force Two to China. 10 days after the trip, a subsidiary of the Bank of China named Bohai Capital signed an exclusive deal with Hunter Biden's firm to form a $1 billion joint investment fund called Bohai Harvest RST. The deal was later increased to $1.5 billion. Now, we could go into Bohai Harvest. I suggest if you want to know more, there are other people linked to Bohai Harvest as well. We're not going to get into them. I want to stick with the Q post if possible. Okay. So clearly, that sounds like the big development that they were talking about right there. Traders everywhere. Indeed, America for sale. Okay, so now we're going to go to Michael Flynn. Well, we all know who Michael Flynn is. Michael Flynn was just in the news yesterday, actually. Now, if you don't know who he is, of course, he's the former Trump National Security Advisor. He made a public appearance since agreeing to cooperate with Special Counsel Robert Mueller at an event Friday night for California congressional candidate Omar Navarro. And I don't want to go too much into this because this particular article isn't necessarily that relevant to the Q post right now. Navarro, who's challenging longtime Representative Maxine Waters, said he and Flynn have been communicating online and via email. They met in person in February when Navarro was in Washington, D.C. to attend Conservative Political Action Conference. And that's all we're going to touch about. We all know what happened to Flynn. He was, let me just read it here. This is his first public appearance by Flynn since he left the White House, was charged with lying to federal authorities and began cooperating with Mueller's investigation. Despite agreeing to cooperate with Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election, Flynn was supportive of President Donald Trump on Friday. Well, I have a feeling we're going to see him come back in the news. I have a feeling he's going to probably find himself in a different position. He's going to find himself vindicated, just my opinion. Moving back to Q. Targeted. Why? Well, because he knows what happens. He knew what happened with the elections. He knew what happened with the FISA memo, and he probably knows where some of those bodies are. Why? Well, just what I said. Who knows where all the bodies are buried? Flynn, Trump, the NSA, lots of people cleared of all charges. I'd like to see that for Michael Flynn. I'd like to see that happen. We'll see. Trump admin version. Is that maybe that version 2? So maybe this is what's working. This shakeup that we've seen. We've seen massive shakeups within the Trump administration, and it truly is a draining of the swamp. Now, it all could be just a, dog and pony show, but I think we've all seen that. Okay, now we're moving on to election theft. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this election theft has been absolutely insane. Oh my goodness. There we go. I want to turn you on here to realclearpolitics.com. This is the Pennsylvania 18th District special election, Saccone versus Lamb. This is a big one to keep our eyes on. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it, but you've probably seen it in the news. Pennsylvania has recently been in the news for other things other than this big district, but this one's a very important one. Connor Lamb is sort of their big hope right now, the Democrats' big hope. Let me turn you over here. Gateway Pundit. 4 crooked Democrats charged with election fraud in Philadelphia. What is up with the city of Philadelphia? It seems like every time we hear about a charge of election tampering or voter fraud, it's happening here. It's happened about 3 or 4 times already this year and last year. The city is completely controlled by Democrats. Coincidence? 4 members of an election board were charged Monday with intimidating voters, casting bogus ballots, and falsely certifying the results in their polling place during a March 21st special election for the state's House 197th District. Those charged include Dolores Shaw, 61, Calvin Maddox, 52, Thurman George, 57, and Wallace Hill, 60. The 4, all Democrats, manned the ballot machines at the Esperanza Health Center at Kensington and Allegheny Avenues in the 43rd Ward, one of the polling places where complaints about illegal electioneering were lodged. There's a video on YouTube, if you want to see it, of a man actually trying to vote for Trump. He's in Pennsylvania, and he literally can't push the button. I'm going to leave you on this because we're still going with Q posts, but we've got election theft allegations not only in Pennsylvania, we've got it in Indiana. As a matter of fact, I believe there's a few arrests been made in Indiana as well. We all know about Roy Moore in Alabama. And this is going on. We have arrests going on in Texas as well. Last hope. Truly, this is their last hope. Congressional focus. They are trying to cram their Congress members in. They're trying to get everybody into the House, into the Senate. They're trying to find a way to impeach Donald Trump. It's the only thing they can do. It's the only thing they can do. And you can impeach. Remember, Bill Clinton was impeached. So it is a move, and it's a move that would buy them a lot of time. So this is a very desperate move, in my opinion. Okay, moving on. They think you were stupid. Well, clearly. They clearly do. And people are buying it. They think you will follow the stars. Yeah, they think we're going to follow Oprah, and they think we're going to follow Jimmy Kimmel, and they think we're going to follow John Oliver and Joy Behar and people like that. They openly call you sheep and cattle. Yeah, indeed. I don't know if you guys saw the Jimmy Kimmel Oscars speech talking about men. It was one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard. It's just getting so overt nowadays, but enough of my opinions. There will come a time none of them will be able to walk down the street. Biggest fear, public awakening. Okay, indeed. Very exciting stuff. Now, as I was researching this post, we got 2 more, which leads me to think there's going to be more today. This is as of 8:44. Next week, boom, boom, boom. This is in regards to that post. USMC, United States Marine Corps, activated US 3. Okay. Probably a lot of theories here. My assumption is we have a boom, boom, boom. Could be Mueller. It could be Clinton. It could be, who knows? Who knows? But with the fact that the Marine Corps being activated, these could be more dangerous actors. These could be Muslim Brotherhood. This could involve Kenya. I don't know. It could be very, very interesting to see how this works out. But then we have the brackets in 3. So we've got boom, boom, boom. I'm going to assume 3 arrests. 3 will be captured, or 3 are captured. Maybe the Marine Corps was already needed to capture 3. But I have a feeling next week could be a lot of fun. And I think every week has been pretty fun. So anyway, there you go. There are your Q posts. I hope that helps. Go search and go do your own. As always, please let me know what your comments are and what your thoughts are. Keep them constructive. Keep them constructive towards each other too. Remember, guys, we are all on the same team here. We're all just trying to figure out what's going on. So that being said, I am Sir Patrick Mack. Stay free, stay cool, stay happy, keep some love in your heart, and I will catch you next time.